our national anthem.
Please be seated. Good evening, parents, family, friends, teachers, administrators, and most importantly, the class of 2014. I am Rachel Miller, the president of this year's graduating class, and I'd like to welcome everyone to this evening's ceremony. I'd like to begin by saying, congratulations, we did it. And in simplest of terms, it feels weird. This is the last time we will all be sitting together, sharing the same accomplishments, many of the same memories, while garbed in similar robes that mask our individualities and scream phantom pride. I've been very nostalgic this past week because it's all hitting me that I have to say goodbye to the group of people who took part in making me who I am today, both my classmates and my teachers. And I owe you all a very big thank you. For the teachers, I know I speak on behalf of the class when I say that you have changed our lives for the better. My peers that sit before me, or next to me, are thinkers, dreamers, explorers, artists, writers, engineers. We are anything we want to be, but only because Phoenixville's teachers and administrators have given us such a strong foundation to pursue these aspirations. A tree can grow, but only if its roots are given a healthy foundation. For my fellow graduates, I've spent the past few weeks thinking to myself what on earth I'm going to say to you all. After a few days of contemplation, I realized that this moment needs more thought than words. I'd like everyone to take a second and think about what's beneath your graduation cap. Besides the obvious, that being your head, beneath your graduation cap is the mind of an individual who's made mistakes, made a fool of themselves, who's lived, learned, cried, not to mention some of the most brilliant minds that have walked Phoenixville. But if we all look past the test scores and the number of challenging classes we've overcome, we are more than robotic bookshelves conditioned to blurt out facts we were taught in school. We are all very special, so aren't we deserving of something better? Of using our minds for innovation rather than memorization, for reflection rather than stagnation, for creativity rather than futile activity? We are more than just our brains. Beneath our graduation caps are compassion, heart, dedication, work ethic, courage. I could go on and on. These attributes are what make us unique individuals that all have amazing things to offer to this world. So graduates, as you enter the next chapter of your lives, don't abandon who you are as a person. Above all, don't forget what went on in these classrooms. Don't abandon those that come after you. We are the new future, and with our education and inspirations given to us while at Phoenixville, we have the power to do absolutely anything if we set our minds to it. Do not accept anything at face value, always ask questions, and demand truth. And most importantly, don't be careful what you wish for. Ask for everything you want and watch your life unfold in glorious magnificence. Be fearless with your dreams. May they be wild, and may they all come true. Thank you guys for the memories, and from the bottom of my heart, I wish you the best of luck in all your future endeavors. Thank you. Please welcome to the podium Phoenixville Area School District's Board of School Directors Vice President, Mr. Daniel Cushing.
Good evening, Dr. Fegley, Dr. Palabinsky, Dr. Parkinson, members of the administration and faculty, friends and loving families, and most of all, to the class of 2014. I'm honored to be here this evening, privileged to speak to you on behalf of the Board of School Directors. The Pennsylvania School Boards Association describes serving on a school board this way. Being a school board member is one of the most important responsibilities of a citizen. School board members establish educational goals that shape the future of the local community and society as a whole. The Phoenixville School Board is comprised of 9 people, 4 of whom have dedicated their professional lives to primary and secondary education. The other 5 are professionals in the areas of finance, engineering, the law, and science. We have each dedicated ourselves to the betterment of the Phoenixville Area School District. For me, serving on the school board provides the opportunity to embrace and cultivate one of my core beliefs: that education is the foundation of a peaceful and prosperous society. Some 50 years ago, in May 1964, then President Johnson delivered a commencement address at the University of Michigan, an address he called the Great Society. He opened with the speculation, the dream, that the Great Society could be built in 3 places: in our cities, in our countrysides, in our classrooms. It was in these classrooms, President Johnson said, that children's lives would be shaped. Every young mind, he continued, must be set free to scan the farthest reaches of thought and imagination. Education, freedom, the two were intertwined in the president's mind. At that time, in 1964, 8 million adult Americans, roughly 4% of the entire U.S. population, had not finished 5 years of school. Nearly 20 million had not finished 8 years of school. And 54 million, more than 1/4 of all Americans, had not even finished high school. Something had to change. And it wasn't just President Johnson who recognized this need. It was your grandparents, many of whom sit among you tonight, who took up the clarion call and made certain that in their lifetime, more minds would be set free, classrooms would be built, talents encouraged and enlarged. Over the last 50 years, the number of Americans who have graduated high school has significantly increased, rising according to the most recent assessment to more than 90%. Here in Phoenixville, we've taken enormous strides, with our own graduation rate rising from 80% in 1963 to more than 92% just last year. Moreover, minds are clearly being well formed here in this district. Indeed, by several measures, the students of this graduating class represent the most successful in this district's history. Phoenixville Area School District ranks in the top 10 in SAT scores in the 4-county area of Bucks, Montgomery, Delaware, and Chester. Among the top scores of the students you see here tonight are 790 in mathematics and a perfect score of 800 each in critical reading and the writing components. The class of 2014 has produced 4 National Merit Scholars, the highest number in our district's history. It has yielded 24 AP Scholars. This year, more than 40% of the entire Phoenixville Area High School participated in an AP class, an incredible achievement in its own right, having doubled the participation rate of 19% in just 2011. The class of 2014 has also excelled in extracurricular activities. Members of this class have been selected to Pac-10 all-conference teams. Several have achieved first or second place recognition in swimming, cheerleading, wrestling, track and field, academic team, physics Olympics, Future Business Leaders of America, and many more. And sitting among you tonight is the best high school flutist in America. A great society? Indeed, I think so. I'm looking at it. This is an important day. This is a glorious day. In the midst of this majestic theater and these celebratory balloons and beautiful flowers, I'm going to ask you, the class of 2014, to close your eyes for just one moment and think of those who have nurtured and supported you, those who believed in the possibility of a great society, those who have helped you find a way to attain the farthest reaches of your own thoughts and imaginations. They are your parents, those who said you could when you were sure you could not. They are the teachers who believed in your talents long before you did. They are the grandparents whose hard work and faith in the future helped build the classrooms where you learned. They are your immediate neighbors, your broader communities, your peers. Some of them sit beside you tonight. All of them are proud. So remember them now, in this minute, and after you have tossed your cap and left this auditorium tonight, remember to find them and thank them. Tell them about the lesson they taught that you won't forget. Give them a hug you'll both remember. Then look ahead as you must and pave the way for the coming generation. Devote some measure of your talent to keeping Phoenixville strong. Search for ways to keep nudging this nation toward great. Use your talents to uplifting ends. The world is in deep need of what you can give. Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2014, the Board of School Directors wishes you each all Godspeed. Thank you. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Nicholas Gilley, Assistant Principal of the Phoenixville Area High School.
It gives me a great deal of pleasure to officially recognize our Honor Stole recipients. Those wearing gold honor stoles represent the top 10% of the graduating class. Please stand when your name is called and remain standing as I read all of the names. I ask that our guests and graduates please hold your applause until all names have been read. Jamison Lee Connors. Benjamin J. Cushing. Haley DeMartin. Matthew Fabius. Brian Robert Furr. Joseph A. Guido. Taylor Marie Horgan. Thomas M. Kowchek. Kendall Marie Kabilka. Kyle Kabilka. Tim M. Labick. Kristen Taylor Lipshay. Kelly Ann Matson. Rachel Elizabeth Miller. Shauna T. Moore. Savannah Wynn Mudd. Andrew L. Peterson. India Hope Reese. Summer A. Stevens. Ian T. Straka. Anna M. Thompson. Gina Carmela Vitale. Rachel Marie Wisely. Congratulations. Please be seated. At this time, I have the pleasure to introducing our salutatorian, Mr. Andrew Peterson. Mr. Peterson is more than just an academic scholar. He is a fine athlete, a great friend, and a humanitarian. This summer, Andrew will be attending his third mission trip. In the past 4 years, he has spent as an athlete in both tennis and golf. Andrew has some unique likes and talents. Andrew enjoys solving very hard problems. He enjoys finding the solutions to them, a gift that one day will benefit the world. And he also believes in efficiency. I'm sure somewhere in business that talent would also be used. Andrew's future will take him to Cornell University, where he will study engineering. His legacy as a person will outweigh his legacy as an academic. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Andrew Peterson.
Thank you, Mr. Gilly. I'm extremely grateful and blessed by this opportunity to speak on behalf of our class today. It's the relationships that we have cultivated over our 4+ years here that have brought us to where we are today and where I am at this very moment, standing on the stage in front of you. I remember being told sophomore year that I was second in the class. While most would anticipate excitement from that news, my first reaction was one fueled by nerves and anxiety. I knew that if I kept my current rank, in 2 years, I would have to give a speech in front of my peers, my teachers, the administration, and of course, all the parents, and it scared me. If you know anything about me, you know that I have never been the most outgoing kid, and by no means a smooth talker. I honestly remember thinking to myself, maybe I should slack off just a bit. Not too much, but just enough to let someone else take the ball from me. Since I'm standing here right now, we all know how that plan ended. But just hearing those words said shows me how ridiculous of a mindset like that is. But we as people are so quick to do this. We are legitimately willing to sacrifice our potential if it means we can maintain a comfortable, safe, and easy environment. But how could I grow as a student, as a friend, and as a person if I was allowing the fear of an uncomfortable situation determine my actions? The clouds of complacency can even blind us so much that we begin to think we have already reached the peak of the mountain that is our real potential. But I promise you, we have so much left above those clouds. This stage transformed from a symbol of fear and anxiety to a symbol of newfound motivation for me, a motivation to intentionally seek situations that put me out of my comfort zone. But we shouldn't be afraid of situations like these, nor should we only find ourselves in uncomfortable circumstances by accident. If we hope to get more out of this life and more out of ourselves, we need to actively strive to push our potential in every manner. And this may mean pursuing goals which the tangible reward is small. It might mean initiating meaningful relationships that challenge you to love someone that's hard to love. When you push the borders of your own potential, it will even challenge those around you to question their own fears and motivations. It's so easy to be consumed by a culture that is focused heavily on attaining a comfortable life, but if the only end result of this journey is a comfortable life, we're missing it. We're missing the point. I do not want us to miss these incredible opportunities that hide within uncomfortable situations. But as Jeff Bezos, CEO of Amazon, said, "Cleverness is a gift. Kindness is a choice." Gifts are easy. They're given, after all. Choices, they can be hard. And I agree with that quote wholeheartedly. It's easy for me to shelter myself in my gifts. But you know what is hard? Walking up to someone that you've avoided for weeks, months, even years, being the first to apologize, being the first to reach out to the other. And quite honestly, I've learned more from those moments than any amount of time spent in the classroom. You see, I don't care if at the end of my life, it says on my gravestone, CEO of some major corporation. That doesn't mean anything to me, unless above it there's a much deeper engraving that says, caring son, thoughtful brother, true friend, loving husband, and devoted father. That's the stuff for which you really have to work, the things you have to sacrifice a bit of yourself for, but that pay back tenfold. It's at an event like this where we are so tempted to solely focus on the future or dwell on the past, so much so that we never actually live in the present. But life is happening around us, and we can be so focused on that future that we miss it. Even if it seems like we'll all never see each other again, there are still opportunities to grow closer to the people right here. We're so ready to shift our focus onto that next goal that we pull ourselves out of reality. Be present. There's potential for meaningful conversation and relationships all around us, but we tend to miss it. One of my favorite speakers, poets, and rappers, Propaganda, says that by doing this, you're turning your life into a game of capture the flag. So focused on the finish line, you step right on a landmine. So ready to attack the day, frustrated because you can't find your keys, focused on the meetings you're going to miss and the traffic you're going to sit in to realize you've been holding the keys in your hands the whole time. Slow down. I have never once regretted a moment where I've actually been present with someone next to me. If you're willing to put everything aside to be with another person, you'll build a body of work, but you'll also build a body of affection with the people you've helped who've helped you back. The ones you meet now who will notice you, challenge you, work with you, and watch your back. Maybe they will be your strength. Guys, you all have been my strength. I would not be up here speaking if it was not for all that you, my closest friends, have done to encourage me, challenge me, just to become a better person inside and, more importantly, outside of the classroom as well. And I really hope that I've done the same for all of you, just by living among you the past several years, and also from what I've said today. Thank you to all the faculty, teachers, and parents for your consistent support, allowing us as a class to reach our highest potential. Congratulations, class of 2014. I love you all. God bless. Thank you. At this time, the Phoenixville Area High School Band will play the selection Overture Jubiloso.
It is truly my honor and privilege to introduce our next speaker of the evening, our 2014 valedictorian, Ms. Savannah Mudd. Savannah is an amazing young lady who has contributed more to Phoenixville Area High School than she has taken away. I have often described Savannah as an agent of change and someone who has the ability to provide others with a voice they didn't realize they actually had. She has truly made Phoenixville Area High School a better place. Described by most as a passionate, intelligent, sassy, loyal, determined, brave, and eccentric individual, Savannah has the respect of all of her peers and teachers. She was a leader in both inside and outside of the classroom. While maintaining the highest grade point average, Savannah participated in several clubs and activities where she served in several leadership capacities. Savannah was a member of the National Honor Society, the debate team, the Model United Nations, the Amnesty International Club, the Gay Straight Alliance, where she served as the president, the varsity academic team, where she served as vice president. Savannah has also received several awards over the span of her high school career for academics and service. Far too many for me to actually name in a 2-minute introduction. Savannah was recognized by College Board as a National AP Scholar for her strong performance on the several AP courses she took during her high school career. Savannah was a speaker at the United Nations in New York as a delegate to the Commission on the Status of Women. She has experienced more in 4 years of high school than many of us have experienced in a lifetime. Savannah will take her talents to Columbia University this fall, where she will major in a social science and continue to have a significant impact on the world. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Savannah Mudd, our 2014 Phoenixville Area High School valedictorian.
Thank you, Dr. Parkinson. Distinguished guests, good evening. A few weeks ago, while I was cleaning out my room, I plucked a dusty brown book from the recesses of my shelf, my 8th grade diary. Though I only kept it for 2 months, as I paged through, it became clear that those last months included all of the typical middle school angst, the jealousy, the loneliness, the obsession with popularity. Flipping through my diary brought unwelcome memories flooding back, accompanied by the ghosts of emotions that had once overwhelmed me. It's fairly obvious why middle school was so painful for me. I was introverted, awkward, and deeply closeted. Yet even the outgoing students had problems. We all hated middle school. And of course we did. Middle school was a time of transition when we were caught between childhood and adolescence, brimming with a newfound social awareness, but with no idea of how to navigate the social scene. We were all categorized and confined, whether by our race, gender, activities, or friendships. Changing cliques was hard, but staying within our own group was equally trying. Conformity was key, but we were constantly chafing at our constraints. We often had to choose between discovering ourselves and discovering our place in school society. We are now entering a similar transition, this one between adolescence and adulthood. Most of us can now drive, vote, and hold checking accounts, yet just last week we needed a hall pass to go to the bathroom. We have chosen where we will spend our next 2 or more years. We may have even chosen our careers, but we couldn't choose when to eat our lunch. It's odd being our age as we quiver on the cusp of maturity. We are half in the future and half in the past, and the middle school fears of acceptance have come flooding back. I say, let them. We will all face loneliness, confusion, and above all, nostalgia. We will long for the innocence of childhood, those carefree days. We will ache for our high school friends, our teachers, or our family, and will shrink from the vastness of the world. And we should not be afraid of these feelings. We should embrace them. Change brings challenges. To overcome challenges, we need all the skills we have: our logic, our education, our supportive relationships, our confidence, and our emotions. Crying is cathartic. We cannot skirt sadness in our life, and it is better to sob it out than conceal it under a veil of happiness. For several months now, I've felt oddly settled. After I chose my college, the day before the deadline, the pent-up emotions from the 6-month-long college process were released quickly and rather quietly, a short sigh after a long inhale. I was excited by my new prospects, eager to be done with high school, but I felt too comfortable. I grabbed a book one afternoon that I knew I would trigger a complex mesh of feelings, The Member of the Wedding by Carson McCullers, and within 20 minutes, I was curled in a blanket, crying about childhood and college and leaving and staying and thinking, yes, this is what I needed. These emotions are real. These tears are real. I am real. And that's probably awfully weird, seeking out painful feelings. But I was reassured, because I knew they were lurking within me, and the only way to truly move forward and embrace the upcoming changes was to let it all out. Change is coming for all of us, and the transition will be awkward and painful and difficult, but will also be joyous and fulfilling and beautiful. See, tucked between my complaints and fears of my diary was my description of my 8th grade birthday party, still one of the happiest events of my life, and excited reviews of excellent books I'd read, and narratives of the fun hangouts with friends, and the silly scavenger hunts we'd planned with each other. In 8th grade, I had a close circle of friends, and while some of them have grown distant over time, I still cherish those memories. And in 8th grade, my 8th grade diary was the smallest hint of my coming out journey, a reference to Anne Frank's bisexuality that led to my own path of self-acceptance as a girl who likes girls. We should not be afraid of sadness, but we also cannot be afraid of happiness. I know it seems like a strange thing to say, something that should be implicit in our lives, but I really mean it. Do not be afraid. Don't be afraid to sing it out, to skip down the hallways, to hug your friends, to jump into fountains. I know people think I'm weird for doing many of these things. My awful happy dancing gets odd looks. I'm laughed at for spinning in gaiety. My inability to resist splashing in streams or dipping my fingers into fountains is never understood. But despite the burning blushes that spread across my face when people shake their heads in bemusement at my antics, I continue. And I am so much happier for that. So, class of 2014, congratulations. In the words of Mr. Jennings, we are finally becoming people. And although we will lose ourselves from time to time, although we will fight our responsibilities, though we will grapple with nostalgia and loss of innocence, we will become adults. We will become the men and women and non-binary people that we strive to be. If we open ourselves up to the extremities of emotion, if we truly let ourselves feel pain and joy, we will experience all life has to offer and be all the better for it. Thank you and good night.
At this time, I would like to acknowledge our seniors who will be enlisting into our United States Armed Services. I ask all of these students to please stand and be acknowledged. Daniel Charles Bristol, United States Army. Alfred William Dark, United States Navy. Richard Keith Gosling, United States Marines. Clarice McCartney Hunt, United States Navy. Haley Ann Riley, United States Navy. Justin Michael Ryan, United States Army. With these young people keeping our country safe, I can sleep well tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause, please. You may be seated. It is now my privilege to welcome to the podium, he doesn't know it, he's a mentor of mine, Dr. Parkinson.
We are mentors to one another. We make a great team up here, so thank you, Mr. Gilley. Good evening. Tonight we are here to celebrate the great accomplishments of the class of 2014. We are also here to recognize several distinguished guests. For the class of 2014, you have achieved so many great things these past 4 years, and this is our evening tonight to celebrate your accomplishments. Tonight, as I stated, we are also very fortunate to have several honored guests among us whom I'd like to recognize before I move forward with our program. I would like to first recognize our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Alan Fagley, and our Assistant Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Regina Polubensky. Their vision has already paid great dividends for our students and our faculty here. I would like to recognize Mr. Gilley, Mrs. Sturdivant, and Mr. Junta, the high school's administrative team, who have been extremely supportive. I would like to recognize our Board of School Directors for their support that they provided to all of our stakeholders in the Phoenixville Area School District. I would like to recognize all the teachers who were invited by one of our graduates to share this evening with them. Will you please stand to be recognized, our specially invited guests? You teachers, right, I agree. Keep it going. You teachers have had a significant impact on their lives, and for that, they have invited you to share this wonderful evening with them. To all of our teachers who inspire, lead, and challenge their students, thank you for continuing to be a significant part of changing the world one mind at a time for what you do each day with our students. Will you all stand to be recognized? All of our teachers in the building this evening, please stand. I would like to recognize all of our teachers and staff who will be retiring this year. Will you please stand to be recognized, all of our retiring teachers and staff? I want to thank you for the many years of service you provided our students, helping them to accomplish all they have over the years. I would like to recognize all of the parents this evening who have supported their children and entrusting us to provide them an exceptional education. Will the parents please stand to be recognized? All of our parents. I would like to thank the Phoenixville community for all the support you have provided our students. Together, we have managed to continue to ascend to the top as we provide our students educational opportunities that are unique. This would not have been possible without your support. So thank you so much to the community. Next, I would like to give a special recognition to the members of the Phoenixville Area High School class of 1964 who are with us this evening. Would you please stand to be recognized? I know we have a few members of the class. Finally, I would like to give a sincere and heartfelt welcome to Ms. Helen G. Davis DeBus, graduate of Phoenixville Area High School, class of 1929. She is here. Ms. DeBus is here with us to celebrate this joyous occasion. She turned 101 years young this year, so thank you so much for coming to visit us again. Okay. And now, to our most important guests of the evening, I have a few words of thanks to all of you. So, I've never been a great student. Looking back on it, it might be a stretch for me to say I was an average student. In fact, my first act as principal of the high school was to classify my grades as top secret, a line I borrowed from Ronald Reagan. In all seriousness, throughout my academic career, learning was always something that I viewed as difficult and I struggled with. Much of my high school career was spent marveling at others, admiring, and perhaps displaying a little bit of jealousy at their innate talents when it came to their performance in the classroom. If only I had been blessed with those same skills that many of my peers had, if only. Later in life, with the help of some amazing people, and those amazing people being teachers, so I know how important teachers are as they're changing the world daily. I had some amazing teachers. I came to realize that I always had talent, and preconceived notions and outside messages had skewed my own vision of what I was capable of. But being an adult, we're expected to know everything and figure everything out. Now, being the principal, you're really expected to know everything, like if it's gonna rain outside, or if you should have the graduation indoors or outside. Perhaps it was coincidence, perhaps it was fate, that the class of 2014 were a group of wide-eyed freshmen joining the high school as I too was becoming the building leader. Now, I don't know who was more confused on that first day of school or who was more afraid, but we can discuss that afterwards. Like in my younger years, I often found myself in awe and wonder at those groups of levels of accomplishment over the next 4 years while you were here with me. Unparalleled by any class in recent memory, this group right here. Yet the gift of age, perspective, and a principal's inside knowledge allowed me to realize that there's a huge difference between making something look easy and it actually being easy. The truth is, even the very best struggle, fail, and have self-doubt, including Phoenixville's very best, brightest, and most accomplished. Now, believe it or not, there was a time when Anna Thompson missed a note while practicing the flute. There was a time when Gina Vitale's science research literally blew up in her face. There was a time when Shauna Moore couldn't even do one pull-up. There was a time when Mackenzie Thomas got beat out of the starting blocks. Yes, by me. There was probably a time when Haley DeMartin colored outside the lines in her coloring book. There was a time when James Jackson couldn't think of the perfect phrase in an oratorical competition. And believe it or not, I know this is gonna be hard to believe it or not, there was even a time when Mr. Gilly came to school and didn't match. There is something refreshing in failure. It reminds us all that low points, while necessary, temporary, transient, and non-permanent, and that accomplishment isn't supposed to be easy. It serves to inspire us in the notion that incredible things are possible, even for us who have had humble beginnings. It encourages us to hold on to the possibility that perhaps one day we too may become the greatest flute player in the nation, a state champion research scientist, a future officer in the United States Military Academy, the greatest 400-meter runner Phoenixville has ever known, a renowned artist, and maybe even a future broadcaster on the ESPN network. Of course, not all failures are easily overcome as I look at Mr. Gilly's socks. I sometimes wonder if it is possible. Is it possible to truly admire someone significantly younger than yourself? Can you look up to someone or a group of people who are at a much different point in their life with a completely different set of life circumstances? Speaking for myself, I would say it's a resounding yes. Now, being the principal at Phoenixville Area High School has and continues to be the most difficult, the greatest challenge of my life. And like any challenge, it's met and marked by failure and setback. And at times I've laid awake at night wondering, how will I come back? I believe in fate when it's convenient. And how convenient was it that it was this class, the class of 2014, who had the opportunity to serve as my source of inspiration through some very difficult early years, and to remind me of the fact that regardless of where we begin in life, we always have the opportunity to, as I love to say, to make it happen. As a professional educator, we are supposed to be constantly learning. We take classes, we read professional journals, books, and we brainstorm with other well-versed educators. And we always look at how best it is to teach our students, the best way they learn, and the importance of creating the best learning environment. And yet, I can honestly say, with all sincerity, that over the past 4 years, my greatest teachers have been you, the class of 2014. You see, what I've learned many years ago, there are some lessons that are never taught in the classroom. They come to us at the most unexpected and subtle of places at moments when we need them the most. What have I learned from the class of 2014? More than anyone will realize. Alex Wortman taught me the importance of being happy, a trait that seems to rub off on whoever comes in contact with her. Jack Barron and Joseph Cassiano helped me to understand that a good joke, or even a bad one for that matter, is never worth keeping private. Carlin Small instilled in me the fact that our personal circumstances should never be an excuse for not being successful. I know you haven't, but I'm sure his peers have seen his book bag, his notes, as he's walking down the hallway or running down the hallway. But he's a successful young man. Rachel Miller taught me that while our bodies or our ACLs may break, our spirits will never break. Aaliyah Gardner reminded me to smile, even on the days that I wanted to do anything but. Chloe Wickstrom taught me how to move forward when frustrations come your way. And Matt Chiappetta, he gave me the courage to keep the facial hair and maybe even expand upon it. We speak about legacies of classes every single year. What is it that this class will leave behind? How will they be remembered? Most of us tonight here can testify to their incredible academic achievements, passionate performances in the arts, and memorable competition in athletics. If those were the only memories we had of the class, it would be enough to place them as one of the all-time finest groups of students to complete their education here at Phoenixville Area High School. But this group of 221 seniors is so much more than grade point averages, inspiring concerts, and championships. This class is unique not because of what they have accomplished, but how they have accomplished it. They did it together, as a group, as a class, and as a family. In an era in which we consistently view young people as self-centered, narcissistic, their caring compassion and friendship with one another strikes counter to the all too familiar stereotypes. How will we remember the class of 2014? In the very best possible way, as a group that was willing to stand together, as a group that was willing to overcome, as a group that served as a beacon of hope for all future classes and generations. For myself, I will remember this class as a group that was willing to teach as much as they were willing to learn, as a group that inspired me on a daily basis, and as a group for whom I will forever be grateful to. To the class of 2014, congratulations. This is your world now. Take it easy. Take it. I love you all. Thank you so much. At this time, the senior vocal ensemble will sing Into the West. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Alan Fagley, who will certify the Phoenixville Area High School graduating class of 2014.
Good evening. What a wonderful celebration it has been for the class of 2014 so far, especially the confetti that went at the start. Dr. Cushing, members of the Board of Directors, class of 64, Mrs. DeBus, our 101-year-old alum, distinguished guests, faculty, staff, parents, and most importantly, the class of 2014. It is my honor this evening to certify the class of 2014 for graduation. It used to be that many saw graduation from high school as the end of their careers, especially as students. Many believed they had learned all they needed to know, and in many cases, they were correct. One of the purposes of public school is to develop the citizens, workers, and leaders of tomorrow. What this country needed years ago were many, many production workers. Thus, schools were modeled in design and function after factories. Workers were what were needed, and the U.S. schools produced the very best. Our nation grew to be the best, both because of the quality of the public schools at that time. But as the song says, the times they have changed. Yes, workers are still needed, but not many production line workers are needed anymore. Today's workers must be doers, like you are, but they also must be thinkers and, most importantly, continual learners. Newton Baker reminds us that a person who graduates today and stops learning tomorrow is uneducated the day after. All of us gathered here today are enriched when we keep on learning. By continuing to learn, new doors of opportunity are opened. When we learn, our knowledge grows and our thinking grows. Through continual learning, success will come our way, not because we seek it, but because we add value, both to the community and our place of employment. As a class, it has been my pleasure to watch you learn and grow over the past 4 years. You are an incredible class of learners, thinkers, and doers. I thank you for pushing us to help you grow to be young women and men who are these learners and thinkers. Additionally and importantly, you are a group of students who understands that not only does it take continual learning, it also takes care, kindness, grit, and understandings to be successful. William Shakespeare described life succinctly, but truly last night, Brian, Matt, Shauna, Rachel, Alexander, Alexandra, James, and without a doubt, Gia, described life and living at its best. In summary, Shakespeare said, above all else, to thine own self be true. That's what you talked about last night. Students, thank you. Thank you for being true to thine own self. Thank you for allowing me and all your teachers, staff, and administrators to get to know you, to work with you. I know I speak for all when I say it has been a pleasure and an honor to be part of your growth. Parents and family members, thank you for allowing us to work with your remarkable children. You have given us a gift, and we thank you for it. Students, your accomplishments in academics, athletics, and the arts are incredible and have been highlighted by other speakers this evening. It is my privilege and delight to tell everyone of one of your final accomplishments as a class. Your hard work, your learning is paying off. Many rich and rewarding opportunities await you. Many of the finest colleges and universities have and are actively seeking you. Each year, it is my honor to report the total value of a Phoenixville education as measured by the scholarships offered to the graduating class for their post-secondary learning. Students, your value is incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, the class of students sitting before you has been offered more than $7.4 million of post-secondary scholarships. Congratulations. Graduates, it is clear that you will be continual learners. Please follow Denise Waitley's advice. Don't stop learning. Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at age 18, 80, or 101. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. Students, keep learning. Stay young in mind and heart. Will the class of 2014 please rise? Members of the School Board of Directors, it is my pleasure to present to you the class of 2014. As a commissioned officer of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, I hereby attest that each class member standing before you has completed all the academic requirements of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania's Department of Education, as well as the requirements established by the Phoenixville Area Board of School Directors. By the authority vested in me, I recommend that these students before you be approved as graduates of the Phoenixville Area School District, entitled to all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities that accompany. Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly present the class of 2014 to you for the awarding of their individual diplomas. At this time, I would like to introduce our advisors to the class of 2014, Mrs. Lori Frost and Ms. Nicole Ricardo.
We ask that you hold your applause until all students' names have been announced. Andrew Lee Peterson. Savannah Wynn Mudd. Rachel Elizabeth Miller. Kelly Ann Matson. Matthew A. Warren. Brianna Maeve Cooley. Colin Joseph Savory. Elise Marie Phillips. Thomas Michael Kowchik. Jacqueline Rose Tucker. Benjamin McKeon. Gabrielle Pattinson. Kenneth McCullough Rosati. Kendall Kabilka. Carlin Jaylani Small. Jameson Lee Connors. Alexander Montero. Alexa Love Cravetti. Jason Demetris. Haley Olivia DeMartin. Jacob Philip Schaefer. We're getting it back up here. Kendall Ruth Martens. Alexander Robert Liberto. Mackenzie Rebecca Schimpf. Justin Michael Ryan. Chelsea Ann Stouch. Caitlin Elizabeth Simon. Jesse Alexander Skloroff. Alicia Marie Marino. Brian Anthony Deo. Alham Abraham Eid. Nicholas Alexander Yatsko. Chandler Renee Lovelace. William Robert Miller. Kristen Taylor Lipshay. Kyle Gordon Kabilka. Lucille Catherine Bauer. Tanner Joseph Steltz. Kayla Cecilia Scarple. Max Joseph Schaefer. Rachel Marie Wisely. John V. Barron. Catherine Phyllis Seawick. Jada Alexandra Boyce. Lana Muhammad Ramani. Colton Ash Warren. Nikela Amelia Thera Berry. Tim Michael Lobick. Thomas Dean DiBiasio. Jade Lee Kramer. Patricia Michelle Johnson. Lindsay Paige Teitelbaum. Dylan Joseph Cole. Marissa Ann DeFelice. Timothy Lewis Alati. Angela Elizabeth Haid. Gregory Blakey Jr. Haley Ann Riley. Donald Lee Brock Jr. Shannon Marie Malloy. Avery Manuel Durrell. Deanna Monet Dyson. Anthony Hall. Shauna Marie Borgeson. Matthew Raymond Nowitzki. Marissa Rose Nowitzki. Christopher Michael Modica. Cheyenne Lynn Davidson. Nicole Elizabeth Duran. Matthew Penn Thompson. Emily Ann McCoy. Kyle Christian Karkaska. Alexandra Susan Wertman. Joseph James Miller Jr. Kira Alyssa Landis. Logan Taylor Landis. Carly Nicole Miller. James Anthony Mizzi. Nicole Lucille Lemon. Robert Walker Newman. Courtney Lee Penapinto. Isaac Newton Levine. Elizabeth Ann Delaney. John Raymond O'Neill. Shauna Tori Moore. Adam Owen Yashua. Aaliyah Teresa Gartner. Richard Keith Gosling. Kayla Nicole Bonner. Matthew R. Chiappetta.
Eric Raymond Wallace. Giancarla Tedesco. Daniel Charles Bristol. Annalie Bodo. Nicholas Day Marutka. Sarah Elizabeth Boone. Alexander Brent Cavan. Morgan K. Bird. Jared Blaze Laird. Sydney Lee Jordan Scavello. Brian Robert Furr. Victoria Aaron Ferguson. Matthew Peter Valino. Catherine Grace Mills. Spencer James Rockesy. Chloe Rochelle Wickstrom. Cybra Medina. Amy Beeler Hill. James Anthony Fields Jr. Tammy Sabrina Rakowski. Brittany Nicole Dragone. Anna Karen Tadeo Mota. Mason Vladimir Shapiro. Quinn Alexandra Kaufman. Jonathan David Barber. Anna Claudia Polly Khan. Trevor Daniel O'Dowd Hall. Taylor Marie Horgan. Joseph Charles Reese. Caitlin Noel Evans. John Stephen Gretzer. Christine Nguyen. Prince Albert Denson V. Marianne A. Odette. Luke Edward Wilson. Gina Carmela Vitale. Joseph Andrew Guido. Erin Marie Boring. Joseph Stephen Cassiano. Aaron Julie Weber. Dimitri Derek Julius. Erica Lon Stewart. Patrick Joseph McGinnis. Cole Patrick Luzins. Cameron James Cook. James Lee Jackson. Colin Patrick May. Matthew Scott Brown. Ashley Rebecca Westerman. Matthew Ryan Fabius. Anna Claire Stone. Wyatt Richard Kane. Jacqueline Esther Cecilia Kelly. Rory Lee Strauss. Erin Elizabeth Kurtz. Victoria Lynn Jones. Amber Lee Gombarek. William Byron Battle III. Tassila Cassandra Silva Connick. Matthew Tyler Smiley. Allison Elizabeth Kramer. Henry Thomas Karkuff. Josie Lynn Galan. Galen Joseph Rogers. Rebecca Ann Dobson. Soren Elizabeth DeMartinez. Jacob Duncan Kevra. Amber Mangabat. Daniel Shea O'Leary. Summer Ann Stevens. Benjamin Joseph Cushing. I have to wait till he comes back up. He told me to wait. Anna Marie Thompson. Matthew Smith. Ashley Marie Serzega. Andrew Beck Peffel. India Hope Reese. Ian Thomas Straka. Kimberly Rose Nyhart. Connor Joseph Herring. Pooja Gohill. David James Curran III. Michael James Denny. Jacob Lewis Galley. Brendan Michael Darcy. James William Trainer. Stephen Mark Hines Jr. Paul Hess Hostler III. Abel George Gadsden. Kristen Nicole DeHaven. Brian Arthur Watson Jr. Jair Rashid Tabbe. John Pius Schneider. Clarice McCarthy Hunt. Jed Lawrence Cooper. Everilda Sarai O'Valley. Nicholas John Caruso. Brenna Marie Christie. Mackenzie Taylor Thomas. James Nicholas Ferrante. Joshua Daniel Grenice. Zachary Alexander Miller. Khadijah Brianne Fordbay. Tyrell Cameron Rogers. Carlos Aran Rich. Matthew John O'Hare. Kevin Malone Schaefer. Taekwon Shaquille Norwood. Emily Ann Gruber. Tony Marie Pinelli. Robert Lewis. Round of applause. Can we have a round of applause for the class of 2014? Rachel Miller, the president of the class of 2014, for the passing of the gavel ceremony.
Congratulations. Thank you. Is it under there? I think it is. Is the gavel under here? Oh, there it is. Found it. Okay. Hello, everyone. Before we conclude our ceremony this evening, we ask Alexandra Batista, class of 2015 president, to please come to the podium at this time. As president of this year's senior class, we want to present to you the Gavel of Leadership. The passing of this gavel symbolizes the transfer of responsibilities and duties from our class to those who will lead the class of 2015. We ask that you accept it, knowing that by doing so, you are publicly signifying your willingness to carry out the traditions of leadership through commitment, dedication, and service. We, the class of 2014, hereby entrust you with it. I now welcome Kelly Matson to the podium for the turning of the tassel.
Will the class of 2014 please rise? Now, after receiving our diplomas, in the symbolic tradition signifying the completion of our graduation, you may move your tassels from the right side to the left side and officially become Phoenixville Area High School alumni. Would everyone please rise and join us in the singing of the Phoenixville Area High School alma mater?
Okay, if everyone can take their seats, what we're going to do now is we're going to ask everyone to please remain seated until all of our graduates, faculty, and administration has left the auditorium. This concludes our ceremony. Thank you all so much for coming out and sharing this joyous occasion. Congratulations, class of 2014.